Here's NBA archetypes that just don't really exist anymore. The first archetype, the pass-only point guard. For each of these archetypes, we're going to go through like the top 5 guys that fit this extinct archetype perfectly. And we're going to talk about why it doesn't exist anymore. And for the first one, the pass-only point guard, the point guard who's looking to do nothing else besides pass on offense. Jason Williams is a perfect example of this. Watch some of these highlights. When the Kings drafted Jason Williams, it was get the ball to Chris Webber and Petar Stojakovic. He averaged 6 assists per game in his rookie season. Then he goes to the Grizzlies, it's get the ball to Pau. He averaged 8 assists there. Then it's get the ball to D-Wade and Shaq. He wins a ring doing that. Probably the flashiest passer ever too. But the reason this archetype doesn't really exist anymore, it's just how much the point guard has evolved over time. I mean, look at the point per game leaders this season. 3 of the top 5 are point guards, the other 2 are shooting guards. If you're a point guard and can't put the ball in the basket in 2026, it's not gonna work. Cause wanna know who else could be a perfect example of this? Elfrid Payton. Elfrid Payton may actually be the example of this. So Elfrid Payton was out of the league for a little, then the Pelicans randomly hit him up in 2024 and said, yo, come back Elfrid, we need a point guard. In these games, 0 points, 10 assists, 3 points, 10 assists, 2 points, 15 assists in 26 minutes, 4 points, 13 assists, and 10 rebounds. I'll throw that out there too. But in this 4-game span, Elfrid Payton had 9 points and 48 assists. He had 9 points in 4 games. Every single game, he had more assists than he had points in all those games combined. Oh yeah, and in his 3rd game back, this dude put up a career high 21 assists. His career high in points is 30. Elfrid just goes out there and get dimes. Guy was afraid to score. But if we're talking about someone genuinely afraid to score, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons' inability to score keeps him out of the league. Because the guy's supposed to be like the next LeBron, the 1st overall pick, averages a career 13.1 points and 7.2 assists. Ben Simmons has hit 1 3-pointer in a game 5 times before. 5 separate games. Ben Simmons has had 15 plus assists 7 times before. 7 separate games. Ben Simmons is such a skilled passer and rebounder, but his inability to score, he can't be in the league with it. But there's 2 players above everyone else who fit this, and the first one, Ricky Rubio. Ricky Rubio averages a career 10.8 points per game and 7.4 assists. His rookie season, he averaged 8.2 assists and 10.6 points. The guy was like always top of the league in assists and like dead last in scoring. But lastly, the obvious leader of this archetype, Rajon Rondo. Alright, Rondo, he averaged a career 7.9 assists. I mean, someone who gets that many assists gotta score. Russ and Luka averaged damn near 30 points per game for their career. Except Rondo averages a career 9.8 points per game. The guy doesn't score double digits. Then Rondo plays for the Hawks, and nowadays they do Magic City collabs. And no, I'm not joking, look it up for yourself. But Rondo, his career high assist is 25, his career high points is 35. So yeah, they just don't come like this anymore. But the next extinct archetype, the back-to-basket big. And someone who fits dead on, Jahlil Okafor. The back-to-the-basket big is the big who's only scoring in post-ups. They aren't hitting threes and stretching the floor, not rim running. This is the 90s Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon. Dump off the ball into the paint, get the hell out of the way, let them post and toast. Want to hear the craziest stat ever? When Jahlil Okafor was in college, 52% of Duke's half-court touches were post-ups. They got 1.3 points per possession. I gotta show highlights from the NBA, because the NCAA sends like an execution crew if you use their footage. But yeah, imagine Okafor in college. This guy posted up 200 times in 14 games once. 14.3 post touches per game. He averaged 0.9 assists, shot 22% from 3. So yeah, Jahlil Okafor, if he touches the ball in the post in the game, you aren't getting that ball back. But someone who might fit this even better, Greg Monroe. Gregory Monroe and Steen, man. What a player. You remember Greg Monroe, the 6'10", 260-pound power forward who played next to Andre Drummond. From 2012 to 2015, this guy averaged 16 points per game. The dude was a monster. In that time, he attempted 5 3-pointers. He made 0. In his whole career, he made 1 3-pointer. He attempted 17. The only game he made one, he attempted 5. Greg Monroe also shoots a career 51% from the field. The guy got in and out of the NBA at the perfect time before it became a 3-point league. And speaking of bigs who shoot threes nowadays, I was just scrolling Instagram the other day and I saw this.
What if you beat a chick and she got a restraining order? Then I start draining threes from the corner like Al Horford.
If I saw this beautiful work of art, you guys deserve to also. But another big man who only worked from the post, Andrew Bynum. Andrew Bynum literally attempted a 3 and got pulled from the game. Andrew Bynum shoots a career 55% from the field. From 3 in his career, he's 1 for 9. The only time he made a 3, like Greg Monroe, he went 1 for 5 in that game. Bynum is 7 feet 285. Of course he's going to work in the post. Office. Because this dude hurt his knee bowling. But nah, Bynum was a dog for a little. But someone who fits this archetype even better, Zach Randolph. If you're a Laker fan, a Celtic fan, I don't care if you were literally born to hate the Memphis Grizzlies, that was your only life mission, you gotta love the Junkyard Dog. Zach Randolph kinda shot 3s in the late 2010s. Left column is made 3s, right is attempted. So like 05 to 09, he was making like 15 to 33s in a season, which obviously isn't crazy. But then 2010 hits, and he remembers he's the greatest post player ever. In Zach Randolph's career, he averages 16.6 points per game, 1.8 assists, 47% from the field, 27% from 3. The guy was 6'9", 250. Nobody was guarding him in the paint. But actually, the definition of back-to-basket big, Al Jefferson. If you lost your Al Jefferson, chances are he's in the post. Al Jefferson is 8 for 66 from 3 in his career. In Al Jefferson's peak, he averaged 8.5 post-ups per game, over 650 post possessions, and over 40% of his half-court usage was in the post. Al Jefferson literally just posted up, and it worked out every time. Also, if you don't own an Al Jefferson t-shirt from 12 years ago, by the way, they say you're insanely weird. I'm not from anywhere near North Carolina, by the way, or a Hornets fan in the slightest bit. This just hangs in my closet and has for the last 15 years. But Al Jefferson also had a season where he averaged 23 points per game, shot 50% from the field, and didn't make one single 3-pointer. That's what this dude Al Jefferson was doing. And of course, the back-to-basket big doesn't exist, because all the bigs shoot 3s nowadays. Brook Lopez went from back-to-basket big to 3-point sniper. All the former back-to-basket bigs hit 3s now. Nikola Vucevic hits 3s now. Miles Turner hits 3s. Al Horford hits 3s.
What if you beat a chick and she got a restraining order? Then I start draining 3s from the corner like Al Horford.
See? But yeah, the former back-to-basket big where they post up and dump the ball to them, pretty extinct. But next archetype. And for this one, we got the absurdly short player. This is the Isaiah Thomases of the world. There was an actual season where Isaiah Thomas finished top of the MVP voting. Isaiah Thomas was 5'9". Yeah. But IT is the most modern player we're going to get in this archetype. So as point guards evolved, they got taller. So Thomas was constantly going against point guards who had 6 to 8 inches on them, but it didn't matter. In 2017, this guy averaged 28.9 points per game. He finished 5th in MVP voting. He shot 46% from the field this season, a 5'9" guy. Isaiah Thomas was the last pick of the draft because he was so short, and he kind of revived this dying archetype. Yes, I know Yuki exists, but he's like the only guy. And the reason these players don't exist anymore, or extremely rare, is because what we mentioned. The players got taller over time, so how is a 5'2" dude gonna guard a 6'8" Cade Cunningham? It's just tough matchup wise. But someone else who was always able to beat this archetype, Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson was also 5'9". He just wasn't as good as Isaiah Thomas, but Nate was really good. Kind of a bench spark that would get the crowd going. And he did have a season where he averaged 17 points per game for the Knicks. But Nate Robinson was a freak athlete. The guy won 3 dunk contests at 5'9", tied for the most ever. And if Isaiah Thomas was like the short engine of the Celtics, Nate Robinson was kind of the short spark that checked in. And if the tempo slowed, he was going to get it going again. But now we're getting real short. Because next up, we got Spud Webb. Spud Webb was 5'7". 5'7" and played in the NBA for 13 seasons. He had a season where he averaged 16 points per game and 7 assists. Spud Webb was pretty good. And if you think Nate was impressive, Spud Webb won the dunk contest 2 inches shorter. And 2 inches is a lot. Like, too much, I would say. But Spud Webb was just really good at controlling the offense. He was a great playmaker. He went from a hawk to a king and was great. What's a hawk to a king? Sorry. But yeah, Spud Webb, small, but great at controlling the offense. But getting even shorter, Earl Boykins. Earl Boykins also played in the NBA for 13 seasons, was 5'5", went undrafted in 1998 because they said he was too short. By the way, shout out to Too Short on the Baby Keem album. Killed his feature. But Earl Boykins, just a great player. Had a 5-season stretch where he averaged double-digit points. The second shortest player in NBA history. I mean, look at the difference between him and Dirk here. Doesn't even look real. But of course, the number one leader of this archetype, Muggsy Bogues, 5'3". It's rare you even meet someone who's 5'3". This dude was a great NBA player at 5'3". Averages a career 7.7 points, 7.6 assists. 7.6 assists in 14 seasons at 5'3". You know how good you gotta be for that? He's the Hornets' all-time leader in assists, steals, and minutes. Isaiah Thomas is the best overall player in this archetype, but Muggsy Bogues was probably the best pure point guard of this group. But we said the absurdly short player is extinct, and really, the absurdly tall player is too. And for this archetype, someone who fits this perfectly, almost completed the comeback of this archetype, Taco Fall. Taco Fall is 7'5", 311 pounds, but he went undrafted in 2019. Eventually, the Celtics picked him up, but then he played 37 NBA games. A career 2.2 points per game, 2.4 rebounds per game, but he does have a career 67% from the field. Good luck beating that. But when I talk about the absurdly tall archetype, I know Wemby exists. I'm talking about the center, 7'5" and up. Vertically gifted guys who stood in the paint with their hands up. Wemby's basically a shooting guard, so let's just forget he exists for a little. Basically, Wemby exists in the absurdly short archetype more than the absurdly tall. But somebody who fits the tall one perfectly, Shawn Bradley. Shawn Bradley was 7'6", 275 pounds. He played in the NBA for 13 seasons. Somehow, Shawn Bradley shoots a career 46% from the field. But he does average a career 2.5 blocks per game, so he was a defensive demon. But this guy lived near the rim. Only played over 30 minutes per game twice in his career, but averaged 8 rebounds a bunch of times, and a career 0.7 assists per game. Shawn Bradley gets the ball, Shawn Bradley's shooting the ball. So Taco Fall was a size experiment. Shawn Bradley gave you some production, blocking shots really. But after him, we got Yao Ming. Yao Ming was 7'6", 310 pounds. If you know me, you know how I feel about Yao Ming. If this dude didn't deal with injuries, he would have been one of the best players ever. Yao Ming played in the NBA for 8 seasons because of injuries. Yao Ming made 8 All-Star teams. And you might say it's because all of China voted for him. Well, Yao Ming made 5 All-NBA teams in 8 seasons. The dude was elite. He had seasons where he averaged 25 points per game, 11 rebounds, shoots a career of 52% from the field. Yao had a season where he played 37 minutes per game too. He's by far the best player in this archetype. I remember in like 7th grade, I had to get up in front of my class and tell them I was reading a book called The Tao of Yao, and the entire class started laughing. Core memory. Thanks, Yao. But there's 2 guys who fit this archetype to a T, and first up, George Mearson. Mearson was 7'7", tied for the tallest player ever. The guy was 303 pounds. The thing is though, he only played in the NBA for 7 seasons. In those 7 seasons, out of a possible 574 games, the guy played 307 games. So he didn't play, which is the case for all these guys. They all deal with too many injuries. But Mearson was actually solid. He won Most Improved Player in 1996, averaged 14.5 points, 10 boards, 2.3 blocks. So yeah, Mearson was actually good, just injured. Once had a 2-season span where he played in one total game out of a possible 164. But Mirasan also led the NBA in field goal percentage twice, so he was definitely a good player, just hurt. But of course, the number one guy who fits this archetype, Manute Bol. Manute Bol was also 7'7", weighed 200 pounds. At 7'7", he had a standing reach of 10 feet. The guy had a Slenderman build. For his career, he averaged 2.6 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, 3.3 blocks. More blocks than points per game for his career. In his rookie season, he averaged 3.7 points per game, 5 blocks. Might actually be the weirdest stat line anyone's ever averaged. He's top 20 all-time in blocks in 18.7 minutes per game in 12 seasons. He had 4 seasons combined where he played 17 games total. And he's the second highest blocks per game ever at 3.3. Alright, ready for this? Manute Bol has a career 1,599 points, 2,647 rebounds, 171 assists, 126 steals, 43 three-pointers, somehow 6 of them once came in one half, but then 2,086 blocks. All these numbers together look fake, but man, that was Manute Bol's career. But before we get to the next archetype, I do want to say, if you want to grow to 7'9" overnight tonight, all you got to do is sub. Then you'll be the second coming of Manute Bol, and you'll be subbed. Thanks. But for real, if you could subscribe, I would genuinely appreciate it. It's truly the only thing that tells me you guys want me to go all in on this channel. Thank you. Anyways, next archetype, the defense only guy. You remember these guys. These guys were everywhere 10 years ago. We're talking about the Thabo Sefolosas of the world. Thabo Sefolosha is the guy the Thunder used to plug in and play next to Durant and Westbrook. The guy was their starting shooting guard for a long time, and he couldn't shoot at all. He averaged a career of 5.7 points per game on 44% from the field, 35% from 3. The highest points he averaged in a season was 8.5. And he played in the NBA for 14 years. That's how good he was on defense. His career high points in a game is 28. But then, he did make the all-defense team in 2010, has a career 103.3 defensive rating. That's elite. No playmaking, no scoring, just straight defense. But someone else who fits this, Raja Bell. Bell was a little bit better on offense, but he wasn't great either. 9.9 points per game for his career. His career high points was 31, so he was never elite offensively. Actually, he was never really even good offensively, but the guy used to play 38 minutes a game for the Suns, and he ended up making 2 all-defense teams. 1 first, 1 second. And he played for 12 seasons in the NBA, so Raja Bell, a little bit better offensively than Sefolosha, but still not great. But let's go back down to, well, worse offensively, Andre Roberson. Andre Roberson was basically the guy the Thunder got to replace Sefolosha when he left OKC, the defense guy next to Durant and Westbrook. Andre Roberson played in the NBA for 8 years. In those 8 years, 22 minutes per game, 4.5 points, 47% from the field, 25% from 3, 47% from the line. Teams used to play Hacker Roberson because a shooting guard couldn't shoot free throws. Andre Roberson's career high points in a game is 19 points. I've watched about 39 Luka Doncic quarters more than that. But then, he makes the all-defense team in 2017, so that's why he fits this archetype, an elite defender. But after him, we can talk about a guy currently in the NBA, Matisse Thybulle. Thybulle this season plays 12 minutes per game. He honestly might be the last of this archetype. A career 4.9 points per game. His best season was 5.7, but then a career average of 1.5 steals. Per 36 minutes per game in his career, he averages 2.8 steals, 1.8 blocks. Ridiculous. He also made the all-defense team twice. In one of those all-defense seasons, he averaged 3.9 points per game. Thybulle not getting you any buckets, but he's lasted. But the last guy, probably the best offensive player of this list so far, which isn't a high bar. He had one season where he averaged double digits, but he's also the best defender of this list, Tony Allen. Tony Allen played in the NBA for 14 seasons, In those 14 seasons, 8.1 points per game, 6 all-defense teams, and he got his jersey number retired for the Grizzlies. Do you understand how good you have to be on defense to average 9 points per game in 7 seasons with the team and get your jersey retired? The guy has a defensive rating of 101.7, plus a bunch of players call him the best defender ever, including Kobe. Kobe always said how me and Tony Allen were the best defenders. But Tony Allen always guarded the other team's best player. Never won the depoy though, which is kinda weird. But Tony Allen, he's just the Zach Randolph of guards. You gotta like Tony Allen. But the last archetype we're gonna talk about, the rebounding rim runner. This is basically the guys who are small forwards or power forwards. I'm not talking centers, no DeAndre Jordans or Clint Capellas. But these guys, they got rebounds, they were athletic, dunked, but couldn't shoot. This is pretty much the athletic version of the back-to-basket guys. And someone who fixed this, Quincy Acey. Quincy Acey was 6'7". Across his whole career, he averaged 4.9 points per game, 3.5 rebounds. And I think every single one of those baskets came from a putback dunk. He played for 6 teams in 9 years, and he was just the energy guy for every team. Every single season, came in and caused havoc. He was 6'7" and got 8 rebounds per game per 36 minutes. Quincy Acey was a beast. But after him, we got Jordan Bell. When the Warriors got Jordan Bell, I was so sure he was the next Shawn Kemp. But then he ended up playing 161 games in his career. But he's one of the most athletic players you're ever going to watch. 6'7" like Quincy Acey, 3.7 points per game, 3.1 rebounds per game. But 55% from the field, and 4 made 3-pointers in his career. But then Jordan Bell gets over 9 rebounds per game per 36 minutes, so he's a rebounding rim runner. But if you threw the ball anywhere near the rim, this guy was going to finish it. But after him, we're going to go to a player. He's kind of too good for this list, but he still does fit the archetype, Josh Smith. Josh Smith is kind of a weird player because his peak, this dude was elite. 19 points, 10 boards, a 6'9" small forward, power forward, but elite dunker, couldn't shoot. Great energy though, so he fits this archetype well. Josh Smith was 6'9" and had a season where he averaged 2.9 blocks per game. He was so good defensively, made an all-defense team, but the thing about Josh Smith, he averaged a career 29% from 3. He couldn't shoot, but then he had a season where he shot 51% from the field. So if he got to the rim, it was going to work. So yeah, easily fits this archetype, but he's the best player in it. But after him, we'll talk about probably the best rebounder in this archetype, Reggie Evans. Reggie Evans was just Quincy Acey on steroids. Maybe they just look alike, but Evans was elite. In 13 seasons, 4.1 points, 7.1 rebounds. That's in 19.2 minutes per game. He had a season where he was top 10 in rebounds under 24 minutes per game. He had a stretch of his career where he averaged a fourth of the total rebounds every single game. He has a career 21.9% rebounding percentage, which is 4th all time. Yes, Reggie Evans. And he once had a game where he got 0 points and 20 rebounds. And if he was gonna score, it was a dunk. He made 1 3-pointer in his entire career. But if there's one player who fits his archetype exactly, rebounding rim runner, textbook, it's Kenneth Faried. The man was actually so good for a while, was arguably the most athletic player in the NBA for a stretch, a 6'8" power forward, 10 made career threes in 8 seasons, and 8 of them came in 1 season. The guy averages a career 11.4 points, 8.1 rebounds, 54.6% from the field, 22.2% from 3. Just watch these highlights in the back and you'll see why Kenneth Faried fits this so well. Every time I scroll on Twitter though, I see this picture. But if you guys enjoyed this, I would genuinely appreciate if you could subscribe. It's truly the only thing that tells me you guys want me to go all in on this channel. Thank you guys for watching.